Welcome to Astro Weatherman. Hello, weather watchers, and welcome to another edition of Astro Weatherman. All right, so today we're going to be starting off a new format where I'm not just going to be talking about the astrology of weather, but we're also going to be bringing information and news and discussions about all things related to astrological changes and movements that are happening with the planets and how they're affecting things here on the Earth. All right, so let's begin with the latest movement, the latest planetary movement, Mercury. So we're going to start with Mercury, and it just moved into the sign of Aquarius on February the 11th, and it's going to be in the sign of Aquarius until March the 2nd. All right, well, what does that mean for yourselves and the world? Well, let's start with the world and then we'll get to yourselves. And we'll go into some in-depth detail in terms of how we can use this vibration to our advantage. All right. Let's start with, I don't know, how about how Mercury in Aquarius affects the general energy. Now, Mercury is the planet in astrology associated with all things communication and information. So, how we exchange information, input and output information. And so what happens when Mercury goes into the sign of Aquarius begins to resonate with that particular energy. Aquarius has to do with rebellion, revolution, innovation, and out-of-the-box thinking. It has to do with social concerns. You know, our groups, our friends, our organizations, our community, humanity in general. So our thoughts, our ideas begin to turn more towards that end. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden you're getting thoughts that are going to be a little bit more rebellious than usual. Okay, so let's look at how does Mercury in Aquarius affect the world. So first, let's talk about something that affects most of us. Well, I say all of us. If you have money or make money, then it's going to affect you. Let's talk economics. How is Mercury in Aquarius going to affect the economy on planet Earth between February the 11th and March the 2nd? Well, Aquarius is lovingly called the sign of earthquakes and instability. All right, so basically, think of what's going to be happening with economics is a lot of ups and downs, roller coaster, and instability. After all, what affects the nature of, for example, the stock market? News and information. Somebody says something not good or provides information that is bad news, the markets or particular stocks will begin to fall or rise. So information is extremely important in economics. So this is where Mercury is going to affect things in a significant way. So during this time frame, expect a roller coaster, a lot of instability in the economic market, maybe feast and famine, lots of extreme highs and extreme lows. And I guess you can say generally, it's not a good time for long-term investments. Let's put it that way. Some people may win big, some people may lose big. This is a very risky time for any major investment. Generally speaking, okay? So, disclaimer, this has nothing to do with any economic advice of any kind. This is just saying the general energy is reader beware. All right. So do your homework before you make any investments during this time frame, as any investment that you might make might be a roller coaster. So, if you're okay with that, well, then okay. But if not, if you're more risk averse, and again, no economic advice, this is just saying, um, make sure that you do your homework, because the markets can be choppy at this time. All right. So this is a sort of a yellow alert period. It's not a red alert. It's not a green alert. This is a time when it's saying, just be aware that uh, uh, try to make informed decisions. Um, and that's it. All right. Now, how about politics? Hmm. Mercury in Aquarius can bring a great deal of instability with politics. Hmm. This is where um, we could find some very interesting news that comes out with politicians or political parties that will rock the boat, that will create a bit of an earthquake. Perhaps some scandals might come out. Perhaps some information will arise that will force political parties or politicians to account. So this should be an interesting time for that sort of thing. This could be a time too where political parties or politicians could come up with innovative new ideas or put out new and innovative ideas, concepts, or proposals that are going to be either radical, different, or um, uh, push the boundaries of establishment. So it should be a very interesting time that way for politics as well. What could also happen is we could see more in the way of politicians or political parties reaching out to community, um, humanitarian organizations, etc. Um, so there could be something of that nature, or there could be humanitarian organizations or groups or organizations or the public that might try to push back against government. So Aquarius is very well known for things like riots and protests and strikes and all these kinds of things. So this could begin to happen around the world. This energy was probably, not probably, it was being felt already, probably about, 2 weeks to 3 weeks already prior to February 11th, building, 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 building. All right. And so it has already begun energetically. Mathematically, just it began on February the 11th. All right. Um, Now let's talk about personal things. How is that going to affect us, you? Mercury in Aquarius is basically a time when we are going to be feeling more rebellious, where we're going to feel like we want to um, break free of certain restrictions in our lives. It's a great time to begin to change and reinvent your thoughts and way of thinking. So this is a good time to really rewire your brain, to do things that are different than what you're accustomed to. Break free of old habits and patterns. So use this time to really think outside of your box. This could also be a good time to try something new and different, something that maybe you've never tried before, that you've wanted to do, you've been waiting to try, but just haven't got around to it. Maybe this is a good time to do that. So this is also a good time to um, try to reach out to the people around you, as Aquarius is a very humanitarian sign and deals with friends, groups, and organizations. So what can happen is you might be getting more phone calls from friends that you haven't heard from a long time or for a long time, family even, or a good time for you to, or you have the urge to reach out to people you haven't talked to in a long time or spoken to in a while. You might be more socially active than normal during this time frame. So you might go out to have more, functions, social functions, dinner dates, meet up with people more so than usual. This is going to be a time frame, and again, this started a couple weeks prior to February 11th, but it mathematically moved in on February the 11th. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden you become more socially aware and socially conscious of the people around you. Okay. So it's a great time for creative thinking as well. So if you feel the need, or you look at any area of your life where you feel stuck, you feel stagnant, Mercury in Aquarius is a great time to try something new. Another energy associated with Aquarius is experimentation. To experiment with anything that you feel needs to be evolved. Now, experimentation doesn't mean you're going to succeed. It can also mean you're going to fail at trying, but the whole point is to try. Remember, Aquarius represents experimentation. Experimentation means we have to give it a try because we don't know. So the only way to find out is to try. If it fails, no worries. We'll try another path. If you succeed, great, continue. So that's Mercury in Aquarius and how we can use it to our advantage. All right. Now, don't be surprised as well. Now, this is where the irony comes in with Mercury in Aquarius, or just in Aquarius in general, even though it's associated with being very social, group, community-oriented kind of energy. Aquarius is a bit quirky in that it requires independence. So it's about learning how to maintain your individuality amidst the people. So how can you maintain your integrity even though you are working with, helping, being a part of relationships and friends and the groups around you? How not to lose yourself within other people, yet still remain part of the group. That's part of the challenge of Aquarius. All right. So that's the homework for Mercury in Aquarius for all of us during this time frame. For personal relationships, it can be a bit difficult because Aquarius is not known for being particularly amorous or particularly emotional. It's more intellectual. So with Aquarius, it's letting go of expectations. And that's a bit of a hard thing to do because as human beings, we have this little thing called ego, and we love to have expectations of ourselves, of people around us, of circumstances and events. And if things don't go our way, we get a little bit upset. Well, Aquarius basically is trying to tell us, let go of expectations. Okay. And oftentimes with Aquarius is go learn how to go with the flow. That's the phrase that really fits Aquarius quite well. Go with the flow. Allow things to happen as they must. Acceptance is a big thing with Aquarius. See, this is the other thing with Aquarius. Aquarius says something very different than what we're accustomed to hearing. Oftentimes we hear in society and everywhere around us that we need to look for our similarities in order to feel a connection. Aquarius says no. Aquarius says the best way to create peace in this world and within ourselves and within our relationships is to not look for the similarities in people, but to learn how to truly appreciate the differences that exist within us and in all of us. When you truly are able to accept and appreciate what makes someone else or another culture or another belief different, when you truly appreciate their differences, then you truly begin to accept them for who they are. Now you can form a relationship that is based on non-judgment. So then that's where, according to the philosophy of Aquarius, true peace can be achieved. Not through our similarities, but through the appreciation and respect of our differences. Because it's through that uniqueness that teaches us how we can evolve, expand, and grow, and actually can teach us more about ourselves and where we might need to grow, where we might need to think outside of our own box, and actually creates the proper foundation for empathy. Because if you can relate to somebody who is very different from you, you can begin to understand that it's okay to be different from everyone else. And that is basically the philosophy of Aquarius. So, there you go. That's today's lesson. Mercury in Aquarius. Oh, yeah. And on a side note, don't be surprised, because Mercury in Aquarius also rules all things science, technology, communications, but also things that can shock you in terms of news and information. How about things like extraterrestrials? Oh, yeah. Don't be surprised if you hear that on the news. Hint, hint. All these things flying in the sky that we're shooting down. And all this extraterrestrial talk. Well, not surprising, Mercury in Aquarius. That's normal. How about that? Now, these are just some thoughts on the subject while keeping us aligned with Mercury in Aquarius. Not surprising that this type of thing or events are happening because of this energy that's in place right now. But let's hypothetically say that these craft that are being shot down are extraterrestrial in origin. Why would they allow themselves to be shot down if their technology was so more advanced? Perhaps either they wanted to be shot down, which is highly unlikely, or do we have technology that has advanced to the point where we can shoot them down? Because after all, they've been around, or we've had sightings of these unidentified flying objects for many years, decades, and centuries, in fact. Or some might say, is it a cover-up to distract us from other things that could be going on this planet and in this world? Take our attention away from things. See, these are controversial thoughts. That is Aquarius. Controversy. Aquarius pushes buttons, and it forces you to think outside of the paradigm, forces you to think outside of the narrative. See, so those are things that might be a bit uncomfortable, but that's Aquarius. All right. So I wanted you to get a little taste of controversy, a little taste of maybe this, maybe that, or, do we push some buttons and try to, I guess what I'm trying to say is try to push the existing narrative. All right. So anyway, very interesting. And so Aquarius, Like I said, Aquarius is the sign that rocks the boat and makes us a bit uncomfortable with these questions. But they have to be asked. All right. So in your lives, don't be surprised if that happens, if somebody does that to you, or you get the urge to do that to someone else. Fun times, indeed. All right. So without further ado, let's get to the weather and see what the planets are doing to North America. And just before we get to the weather forecast for this lunar week is the third quarter moon for February, and it goes from Monday, February the 13th until Sunday, February the 19th. All right, so let's see what the planets are doing. Okay, let's start off with the weather. And again, we're tweaking the formats here and there, so we'll hopefully find one that um, works really good. All right, so let's start off with BC, West Coast, and just Western Canada. All right, BC, we're going to start off with giving you a red zone. Not great weather coming up this week, unfortunately. All right, and why? Well, first of all, let's start with Saturn up here. See, Saturn is going to bring you a lot of clouds and rain. And unfortunately, be aware that Saturn can definitely bring some stormy weather as well. So rain could be significant at times. Not only that, but look over here and you see Venus and Neptune, both pairings, both this pair of planets can definitely bring a lot of moisture to most of BC. Snow in the higher elevations and flurries and rain on the coast and lower elevations. So I think this is going to be a cloudier, rainier week of weather for BC. All right, let's go to Alberta. And we're going to give Alberta, I think, now it's going to be a bit of a mixed week of weather for Alberta, but overall, I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's actually going to be nice. So we're going to give Alberta sort of a green zone here of weather. Why? Well, Jupiter. Okay, now Jupiter is going to bring plenty of sunshine to Alberta. Lots of well, not lots of clouds, a lot less in the way of clouds. You'll have some partly sunny, partly cloudy days, but I think a fair amount of sunshine is definitely going to happen for you guys. Now, Jupiter can bring a few breezy days, but Jupiter also likes to warm up the temperatures. So I think it's going to be overall a nice week of weather. Now, however, we do have Neptune just to the west and Venus that could bring snow to the mountain areas, okay, and more moisture. Now, it could bring maybe some scattered flurries here and there uh, in other parts of Alberta, but it shouldn't amount to too much, if anything, because Neptune in the Alberta area tends to bring Chinooks, so it could be a warmer weather it could be a warmer week of weather for Alberta with a good amount of sunshine, and again, maybe some flurries and snow in the mountains, and maybe the odd flurry or snow can hit certain regions in Alberta this week as well, but I don't think that will be much of an issue, and expect, I think, Chinook type weather. All right, so that's Alberta. Now, Saskatchewan. Now, you guys, I think overall is not going to be, it's not going to be a bad week. So I'm going to give you guys, a green zone as well, even though Uranus can give you a bit of a mixed bag. All right, so the nice weather is brought to you by Jupiter, right over here, and that will bring warmer temperatures and sunshine. Now, the planet Uranus, just a little bit further north and east, that will bring you also some sunny days, but can definitely bring some drops in temperature, and the odd scattered flurries or scattered snow that can happen. So again, I don't think it's going to be bad, but I think you can definitely expect windier week. There could be days where the winds are going to be stronger than normal, and that's with a Jupiter-Uranus combination. All right, but otherwise, I don't think a generally bad week. Okay. Next, let's go to Manitoba. Okay, Manitoba. Now I'm gonna give you guys. I think I'm gonna give you guys sort of a red zone here, just because. Um, well, you know what? Let's give you a mixed bag, and we'll use the blue color for mixed bag weather. So not bad, but not great. All right. So basically, why? Well, the planet Uranus is going to bring you some nice sunny days, um, some light breezes, and but it will also bring you some scattered flurries or snow. That's exacerbated by the moon. Okay. Now, the moon is going to, especially right now in Scorpio, will be bringing more moisture, especially to the northern regions. But so I think you can expect some mixed cloudy days, some mixed sunny days in between with scattered flurries and snow. And I think the temperatures, however, will remain cold. Okay. Now let's go to Ontario. All right. So Ontario, you guys, I'm gonna give you guys a red zone. Doesn't look great weather-wise for you. And why? Well, let's start off with Pluto up here. Pluto will definitely bring moisture. So we're gonna see I think some rain or showers into the south, but that can also turn into snow and flurries. You have the moon in Scorpio, which will bring moisture and snow flurries. You've got Uranus, which brings mixed bag of weather, some sun, but also flurries. And Mercury. Now, Mercury will also bring some sunny days, and but it can definitely bring some very windy days. So watch for some stiff winds, and if you mix some wind with some snow, there is a potential for blizzards or some whiteout events. Hopefully not. Maybe it's just going to be windy days, but just be aware of that. Okay, that's Ontario. All right, so let's go to Quebec. Now, Quebec, mixed bag, actually. So not bad, but not great. Okay, so let's give you guys the blue square. So why? Well, first of all, you have a couple of positive weather planets. All right. You have Mars right down here, which is going to be giving you some sunny days and some warmer temperatures actually. And you've got Mercury up here. And Mercury also can bring some sunny days, but it can also bring some stiff winds. So there's going to be some windy days. So overall, you're like, okay, so far not looking bad. What concerns me, however, and I'm going to move the map down just a little bit, because we do have the moon, which is, even though it's further down here, it can bring moisture up, especially towards the southern parts of Quebec. And so that will bring some snow and some flurries as well. So, this is why I'm giving Quebec a mixed weather rating for this week. Okay. Not bad. You're gonna have some very nice days, but I think you're gonna also have some snowy days with flurries and wind. And that's the thing with Mercury. Add wind with snow, that can again possibilities for blizzards, whiteouts, that kind of thing. So just be careful with that as a possibility. Hopefully not, but we just have to keep an eye out for that. All right, and then the Maritimes. Now, Maritimes, I'm going to give you guys a mixed bag rating as well. Mixed weather week. And why? Oh, let me just can't block out the planets. Oh, geez, Louise. Let's try that one more time. There we go. All right. So why mixed bag? Well, first of all, you've got some really nice warmer weather thanks to both the sun and Mars. Both of these planets are really going to help warm up the temperatures and bring some nice sunny days. However, you've got Saturn, and Saturn is just off the east coast, and that is the planet of storms. And so watch for some passing storm systems that can come through, bringing maybe rain or heavier rain on coastal or in coastal regions, and snow and flurries that can happen inland and maybe even on the coast as well, depending on how low the temperature can get. With Saturn, that can happen. So that's why it's going to be sort of mixed weather week. But otherwise, you know, okay. You're going to have some nice days, definitely in between. All right, there you go. That's Canada. Let's go on to the US. Okay, USA, let's get started. All right, so the first thing that we're going to look at is this large swath of the Western US. All right, and overall, we're going to give you guys a nice big uh, green zone rating of weather over here, all the way. And I think, you know, this is going to stretch up to about there. All right. Why? Well, we have a couple of planets in action happening here. Now you have two really good weather planets affecting you guys. You're going to be sandwiched in between both of them, and that is Jupiter and Mars. Now, both of these planets are going to be bringing very nice warm weather, warm temperatures, and plenty of sunshine. Um, so that is for a good portion of the week. Now you have Venus and Neptune going right down the middle over here, okay? And Venus and Neptune, they can bring some rain and scattered showers, okay, occasionally, especially the closer you are to those lines. So just be aware of that. Now, all of these planets are warmer. So I think this entire region is going to have warm temperatures, warmer than normal, or at the very least, seasonable. So nice temperatures that way. So overall, I think plenty of sunshine throughout the week, maybe some scattered showers or rain here or there, but that's it. So overall, I think a very nice weather week for that entire portion of the country. All right. Um, there might be a little bit more rain further to the upper northwest, in the Washington, Portland area, but I don't think it's going to be that bad this week. All right, I think overall, nice weather can be expected throughout most of the week. All right, now let's go to the middle part of the country. We have this giant swath of weather. I should say this giant swath of space that's affecting this entire portion of the country. And I think overall, I think the weather looks pretty good. Um, and so I'm gonna give, a sort of a big green zone that's gonna stretch. I think it's gonna be up to about, especially about to around here. And then we get into some weather that I'm a little bit more concerned about. Okay, let's talk about this zone here first. So where the green zone is, it's going to be powered by Jupiter. So Jupiter is going to be the driver, the main driver here. And so with Jupiter, you're going to have nice warm temperatures and plenty of sunshine, maybe a few windy days because Jupiter does like to bring on some wind. But overall, I don't think it's going to be bad at all. I think it's going to be a generally beautiful week of weather. Now, the other part that I want to talk about is more this zone. And this zone here is where I'm going to give more of cautionary tail, okay, that stretches all the way down to Florida. And why am I giving it this kind of weather? All right, well, couple of reasons. But we'll do this portion right here. And you have a couple of nasty planets that are affecting you guys. Let's start off with Pluto. And that's the black line that stretches all the way um, down to Florida and goes all the way up from basically Wisconsin to Florida. And it crosses, and so Pluto will bring rain, moisture, for sure, snow to the north and rain to the south. All right, so do expect that. Um, and you have Uranus, which is on the right over here. And Uranus is the planet that can bring some nice sunny days, but it can also stir up the atmosphere and bring unpredictable weather. So it's the roller coaster planet. So it's the planet of instability. I'm kind of concerned about this portion, right, or this area right around here, right? And this zone is where Uranus and Pluto meet and intersect. That's where we have to watch out for some maybe significant storm systems that can come through. I don't want to say tornadoes, but it is very possible. Either with those two planets, Pluto and Uranus, the possibility of tornadoes do exist. So be careful this upcoming week. At the very least, there could be thunderstorms that will roll through. All right, so just a heads up for you folks around there. Okay, there we go. So let's move on to further east. All right, right there. And you guys, I'm giving you sort of a mixed bag. Not bad, but not great. And it's going to stretch from, roughly this area here. Okay. All right. So here you guys are being powered by Mars up there, which is going to bring sunny and warmer weather, and Mercury, which also brings sunnier weather, but it can also be windy. So there's going to be some windier days. And then you have the moon over here, which basically that gray line that will bring or push some moisture into the area as well. So they can bring some rain or some showers and some snow inland as well. But I think those will just be a few days. It won't last too long. Overall, I think the weather is going to be warmer, drier, sunnier, with some windy days, but you are going to have maybe some scattered showers or rain along the coast and maybe some scattered flurries or snow inland that could pass through. All right, there you go. That is the USA. We'll just clear that up and we'll head to Mexico. All right, let's begin with Mexico. All right, overall, another beautiful week of weather. Not much to talk about. So, basically spanning most of the country. And we'll talk about the Yucatan in just a little bit. They're just always in a little bit of a different weather pattern, just based on where they are in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean area. So basically, Jupiter is going to be the main driver for most of Mexico. And Jupiter brings plenty of sunshine, hot weather, and maybe some mild breezes, a little bit of wind here and there, but otherwise very dry, sunny, and hot. That's it for most of Mexico. Now you have Neptune up here to the northwestern portion of Mexico, and that could bring that could bring some scattered showers or even fog or mists maybe in the early morning hours or what have you. But other than that, it's most of the time it's going to be hot, sunny, dry. All right, now let's just move on to this portion of the country, just a little bit more to the east. And of course, here we have the Yucatan, and again, it's not bad. It's not bad. So I'll give you mixed weather, basically from this region. And so this is because it's closer to Pluto. All right, so Pluto is going to be more of an influence in that part of the country, which can bring, especially in that region in this season, scattered thunder showers and some odd thunderstorms. But um, I think you're going to have lots of sunny days, hot days, intermingled with scattered thunder showers or thunderstorms that could pop up in the afternoons or evenings, and then it clears up and is nice again. So overall, not bad. Um, and yeah, other than that, Mexico is looking good again. So enjoy. All right. That's it. That's it for Mexico. Okay, there you have it, folks. Mercury in Aquarius and the weather forecasts for North America, the astro meteorology forecasts for North America for February, third quarter moon in February 2023. Right, we'll be back next week for the new moon period of February 2023, starting on Monday, February the 20th, and that's going to go until Sunday, February the 26th. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.